Good morning, class.
Good morning, Miss Crabapple.
Today we are going to learn about the Qin Dynasty. Yes, Stephanie.
What's Chicken Dynasty?
Well, Stephanie, the Qin Dynasty started long, long ago, approximately 221 BCE. It all began when the 7 warring states were overtaken by Qin. That is how the Qin Dynasty began.
Ken! Settle down, settle down. Today marks the day that all unpractical books will be burned. Only books with practical subjects like agriculture, medicine, and magic will be allowed.
Magic?
Yes, Brad, magic. Anyone dares resist my laws will be executed. Would you like to be the first?
Hey guys, we need a narrator.
Hey guys, I got green beans.
I thought so. Well, 460 scholars are going to be executed if you do not follow my rules.
Hey, you guys.
You'll see what happens when you don't listen.
So you smart people, not rich people, to run the government?
Yes, Ginger. And he appointed all educated men to run the government instead of nobles, therefore ruining the aristocracy.
Wasn't everybody mad at him?
Of course, Brad.
Yes.
No? Yes. Get out of here. Okay, off with you nobles. I have better things to do than stand around all day with such babies.
Brad. Earth to Brad.
What?
Well, I was talking about how almost everybody hated him. Qin subjects saw him as a cruel tyrant, nobles were angry, scholars detested him for burning the books, and peasants hated him for forced labor gangs.
He sounds horrible. When did he die?
He died in 210 BC, Stephanie. But there are many theories to how he died.
I have to go now. I'm off to find the drink of immortality. Assistant! Hello? Grandma? Do you know where the drink of immortality is?
It's over there, sweet pea.
I finally found it. I will never die.
Whatever.
Chug, 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 chug.
After Qin died, his son took over, and with all the pressure of not being as good as his father, he committed suicide. And that's only the first theory. To help you with the second theory, let's watch a show called Jia Yi Talks. Hi Jia, welcome to Jia Yi Talks. We're so glad you could be here with us. I have a few questions for you. So, what is your theory for how the Qin Dynasty fell?
Well, I personally believe it was the second ruler's fault. Because after Qin got poisoned because no one liked him, the second ruler, his son, was not able to be a good ruler because he didn't change many things that the people wanted him to. Well, after all, I think that's the reason they killed Qin. Because of that, the Qin Dynasty only lasted 3 more years until it was overtaken by the next dynasty, the Han Dynasty. My personal favorite.
Well, that was a very good response, Jia. Thank you. We'll talk more after break. That was the second theory. And last but not least, the third theory of how the Qin Dynasty fell was that it wasn't harsh enough to opposing groups, or didn't fully put an end to opposing groups, making it liable for the other groups to take over.
Whoa.
Stephanie?
You know, all these guys are kind of like, because Qin died, and nobody likes him, and they poisoned him with, like, the everlasting life juice.
Exactly. You were very correct, Stephanie. Now let's watch the rest of Jia Yi Talks, class. Now that the commercials are over. Hi again, Jia. Let's continue. So, tell me more about yourself.
Well, my name is Jia Yi, and I am a Confucian poet and a statesman of the Han Dynasty, the dynasty that overtook the Qin Dynasty. I was born in 200 BCE.
That was a good answer, Jia. Now, my last question is, how long after the fall of the Qin Dynasty was your essay, The Fault of Qin, written? Just for historical reference.
What a strange question. Well, may I say the Fault of Qin was written 35 years after the fall of Qin, because I was not yet born when the Qin Dynasty actually fell.
Thank you very much, Yi, for being on our talk show. Next up, we have Lucia. Okay, now that we have watched Yi talks, do we have anything to add on?
Well, Miss Crabapple, he was a statesman for the Han Dynasty, so he might have over-exaggerated or even lied about how the Han Dynasty overtook the Qin Dynasty because he wanted to seem more powerful.
Very well done, Ella. Yes, and that might have been the case. Anything else? Anything to add on, Jake?
Yes, Miss Crabapple. Under Qin, the philosophy and scholars of Confucianism were persecuted. But when the Han Dynasty started, the court accepted Confucianism, and this might have also affected Yi's account. Because, like Ella said, he maybe wanted to make the Han Dynasty to seem more powerful and kind of show that the Han Dynasty was better than the Qin Dynasty and that the people wouldn't worry.
Why is everybody so smart today? Well, our last topic on the Qin Dynasty is on a newspaper article. To help us understand this more, let's watch Brenda's book talk. Da-da-da-da-da. Hey, ladies! Hey, y'all, it's Brenda, and today instead of the usual book, we have a newspaper article. It was written by Tan Xiaowen in 1974. I got the idea of doing this when I was eating at my favorite Chinese restaurant, the Lotus Flower. So, ladies, I know y'all have read this over the week, so I'm going to ask some questions just to exercise your brains. So, what was going on at the time it was written?
Brenda, my dear, that's an easy one. We all know that at the time there were very severe government censorship. People who said bad and negative things about the state were often very punished.
Amazing, Candace. Now, the second question is, how might this have influenced what Xiaowen wrote about the fall of the Qin Dynasty?
You see, Brenda, it influenced how I wrote about the fall of the Qin Dynasty because the topic was about China, but it didn't say anything negative about it. Another reason is that it says in the article, the first fallacy fabricated, so they were saying that it was fake and not true, so it wasn't criticizing it. It was only disagreeing with it.
Oh my Barbara, that was amazing. The last question is so easy, you might think I'm crazy, so I'm going to answer it. The question is, why do you think Xiaowen wrote that Confucian scholars have fabricated a fallacy? The answer is, of course, because evidence he had didn't maybe direct to that conclusion, even though everybody else said it was true. And it also might be like Barbara said, he was trying not to criticize the government by saying that.
Agreed, Brenda.
Until next time, y'all, the next book we're going to read is Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Stay tuned. To conclude our lesson, we are going to figure out which is the most reliable source of information about the fall of the Qin Dynasty. We are going to be figuring this out by seeing if each document, essay, or newspaper article has a reliable source, and we are going to choose one. So, Jake, is the first document reliable or not? Describe why or why not.
I believe the first document isn't reliable because it was written in 2001, and that's not really close to 221 BCE.
I believe the second essay is reliable because even though Jia might have been exaggerating the information a little bit, he was the person that lived the closest time to the Qin Dynasty and would have gotten direct information from someone who lived during the time of the Qin Dynasty.
Very well, Stephanie and Jake. Now, Ella, what about the last newspaper article we heard on Brenda's book talk?
I think the last newspaper article isn't very reliable because, as Barbara said in Brenda's book talk, because the topic was about China, but didn't say anything negative about it. Another reason is that it says in the article, the first fallacy fabricated. So they were saying that it was fake and not true, and it wasn't criticizing the Qin Dynasty's government. It was only disagreeing with it. Hisao Wen could have been saying false information for his own safety.
So we all agree the last newspaper article is the most reliable? And that concludes today's lesson. Bye, kids!